Welcome in, everyone. Whether you're an aspiring architect or stepping into the world of project management, this explainer is absolutely for you. When we look up at a breathtaking city skyline, it's so easy to just get lost in the aesthetics. But behind every single steel beam and pane of glass is a wild story of intense coordination. I want you to think of directing a construction project exactly like directing a massive blockbuster film production. You've got your script, your budget, your cast of hundreds, and a very strict premiere date. Today, we're going to decode the exact steps of that journey. It's the million-dollar question, right? Literally, how does a quick sketch on a napkin or some brilliant concept in a boardroom actually become a towering physical building? Well, as you'll see, building isn't just about pouring concrete and laying bricks, not even close. It's this heavily structured orchestration of legal documents, rigorous contracts, and meticulous planning that happens long, long before the first shovel ever hits the dirt. Okay, let's dive into this. We'll be walking through 6 key steps together. 1. The project lifecycle. 2. Mastering the client brief. 3. The tendering process. 4. Choosing a contract type. 5. Reaching practical completion. And finally, 6. Handing over the keys.
Step 1. The project lifecycle. Setting the stage.
To kick things off, let's look at the overarching framework. Every project out there, no matter how complex, is governed by a timeline moving sequentially through 5 focus areas. We have initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling, and closing. This is literally the roadmap you use to keep total chaos at bay. And notice how monitoring and controlling sits right alongside execution. That's absolutely crucial. You can't just set a plan in motion and walk away. You have to actively steer the ship the entire time. The core purpose of all these stages? It's really all about alignment and regulation. During initiation and planning, your main goal is to align stakeholder expectations and define the exact scope and course of action. But once execution kicks in, your focus sharply pivots to tracking, measuring, and reviewing progress. You've got to constantly monitor the work to successfully regulate performance so that ultimately you can formally complete the contract without, ending up in a messy legal dispute. Step 2, mastering the client brief, writing the script. If your project is a movie, well, this is where you write the script. As the architect, you're the person best suited to accurately interpret your client's raw needs into a concrete brief. And when you're dealing with a complex corporate client, let's be real, you can't just have one casual chat. You have to systematically gather information. Start at the top, discuss the macro scope with top management, then dig into the weeds by sending questionnaires to complex divisions and meeting directly with subdivisions so you understand exactly how they're going to use the space. Finally, you pull vital data from local authorities, like the UDA, for example, so you know exactly what legal parameters you're actually designing within. Because a brief is far, far more than just a list of rooms. A truly robust brief must capture the reality of the physical site. We're talking slopes, trees, waterways, and all the adjoining environmental factors. It dictates the special services required, explicitly states the client's financial standing, and locks down the local planning regulations. Honestly, if you get this wrong at the start, everything built on top of it will just crumble. So let's say you've taken that brilliant brief and created a masterclass design. The client loves it, it's totally approved, awesome. But a drawing is still just a drawing. The next massive hurdle is figuring out how to actually find the right builder to bring your vision into the real world. Step 3, the tendering process. Casting the contractors. Think of this phase as your casting call, and this brilliantly illustrates the massive volume of paperwork required just to ask a contractor for a price. We aren't just sending over a quick floor plan here. You need full sets of architectural, structural, and mechanical working drawings. You need written specifications for every single trade. You need bills of quantities itemizing materials, right alongside strict legal frameworks like performance bonds and the general conditions of contract, the whole shebang. All of this ensures that when a contractor gives you a price, they know exactly what they are signing up for. Now, you also have a couple of distinct strategic options when soliciting these bids. You can go with an open public tender, which means it's open to any interested bidding contractor. That's often great for transparency and getting really competitive pricing. Or you can use selected and invited tenders. This is where you restrict the bidding strictly to a pre-compiled, vetted list of builders you already know and trust. The route you choose here really dictates the risk and the quality you can expect moving forward. Step 4, choosing a contract type, structuring the deal. Once you've actually evaluated the tenders and selected your winning builder, you have to lock them in and structure the legal relationship. One really popular structure in the industry is the turnkey or design-build contract. Essentially, this is a package deal where a single organization handles everything from the design to erection to servicing, all for a guaranteed maximum price. Sounds incredibly convenient for the owner, doesn't it? But here's the catch. When the builder is also the designer, they might try to save a few bucks by lowering standards. So owners absolutely still need independent professional agents on site to exercise control over workmanship and approve those progress claims.
Now, if you aren't using a turnkey setup, you might look at specialized financial structures like these. With a cost plus fixed fee, the contractor gets paid for the basic costs of the build, plus a pre-agreed set fee on top. Simple enough. But contrast that with a target cost with a variable fee. This one's fascinating because the fee is negotiated based on a percentage of under or over expenditure. This uniquely incentivizes the contractor to actually work efficiently. I mean, if they save money on the target cost, their fee gets a bump. It's a real win-win if managed right.
Okay, so let's fast forward a bit. Fast forward through all the mud, the noise, and the sheer chaos of the execution phase. The heavy machinery is finally rolling off the site. The building is standing tall against the sky. Huge relief, right? But the project is actually far from over. What happens next? Step 5. Reaching practical completion, the premiere. If this project were our film, this is the red carpet premiere. The building is essentially ready for occupation, but a crucial business aspect kicks in right here, the defects liability period. Just because the client is moving their desks in doesn't mean the builder is off the hook. This is a designated timeframe following practical completion where the contractor is legally obligated to return to the site and rectify any newly appearing defects. So, the crucial point is, this heavily protects the client from any shoddy workmanship that might only reveal itself once the building is actually being used day to day. And to guarantee the contractor actually comes back to fix those defects, well, the architect controls the money through a strict certification flow. Throughout the whole construction phase, you issue interim payments, but you hold back a percentage of that cash, which is known as retention. At practical completion, you only release 50% of that retention money. You literally hold the remaining balance as leverage until the defects liability period ends, and every single flaw is fixed. Only then do you issue the final certificate. It is the ultimate financial leverage.
Step 6. Handing over the keys, the final cut.
This right here is the deeply satisfying final stage of our journey, the final cut of our production. Handing over a multi-million-dollar asset is an intense logistical operation. You've got to verify the transfer of meticulously numbered keys. You have to hand over the as-built drawings, which show what was actually constructed, not just what was originally planned, along with all the maintenance manuals. You collect all the warranties, ensure the owner's maintenance staff is properly trained on the complex equipment, and prepare that crucial final list of minor defects that still need attention. You simply cannot leave the client in the dark about how their massive new building operates. And guys, this isn't just dropping the keys in the mailbox and waving goodbye. The handover is a highly formal meeting. It must be arranged on a specific date in the presence of both the owners and the contractor's representatives. It is at this exact moment that you, acting as the director of this massive production, issue the certificate of practical completion, officially wrapping the core of the project. We've journeyed all the way from a fragile idea on paper to a standing, functioning building. You've seen the life cycle, the tendering, the contracts, and the rigorous financial leverage required to finally cross that finish line. Now that you know the hidden mechanics behind every successful build, the question really falls to you. Will your next project be a masterpiece of planning or a cautionary tale of chaos? The choice is entirely in how you manage the process. Thanks for joining me on this one.